Hi, this is a basic music theory course with me, Ralph Martin of Brass Dragons, in cooperation with Ruza Productions. Today I'm going to give you 4 lessons from the basic music theory course. Now, music notation is not hard to understand once you know and understand the basic music symbols. But realize that music is a language all of its own, and like any language, it's going to take time, some diligence, and a little bit of patience to get through it. So stay with me, and we'll work through this music theory together. Again, my name is Ralph Martin, and I've been playing, studying, writing, and recording music for over 40 years. I went to Berklee College of Music in Boston, where I studied arranging and composition. I played, arranged, led, directed, written, recorded big bands, dance bands, jazz bands, orchestras, concert bands, duos, trios, quartets, quintets. I've also taught both privately and in classrooms. I figured now it was time for me to give back some of what I have learned so I can help others to read, study, understand, and enjoy music as much as I do. So stay with me, let's have some fun, and let's begin. Basic Music Theory Course by Ralph Martin of Brass Dragons for Ruza Productions. Basic Music Theory, Lessons 1, 2, 3, and 4. Lesson 1. The Staff. Music is written on a 5-line staff. The lines are numbered from the bottom to the top. Line 1 is on the bottom, line 2 is the next one up, line 3 is in the middle, line 4 and line 5. Between each line there is a space. There are 4 spaces on a staff. From bottom to the top is space 1, second space up is space 2, space 3 above that, and space 4 above that. Musical sounds, low or high, are shown on the position of notes on a staff. Notes on the higher lines and or spaces are higher in pitch, that is sound, than those on the lower lines and or spaces. That is, the note that's on the 4th line up sounds higher than the note that is on the 1st line. And the note that is in the 1st space sounds lower than the note that is in the 4th space. On a blank piece of paper, draw a staff of 5 lines. On the staff, number the lines from high to low. Also on the staff, number the spaces from low to high. By using an arrow, indicate whether the second note of each of the following sets sounds higher or lower in pitch than the first note. That is the second note lower or higher than the first note of each of the pairs? By using the letter H or L for low, indicate whether the first note of each of the following sets sounds higher or lower in pitch than the second note. That is, on each of these pairs, is the first note lower or higher than the second note of the pairs? Lesson 2. The treble clef and staff. Now we need to know where the lines, what notes are on the lines and what notes are on the spaces. To do this, we need a clef. At the beginning of each staff there is a clef. The treble clef or the G clef looks like this. To draw the treble clef, first draw the tail at the bottom and then bring the line up, add the top loop, and finally the bottom loop around the second line up. Try drawing some treble clefs. Draw some staff lines and then draw some clefs. Or at the end of this PDF, you can get some blank paper and you'll see an example of a clef, and you can draw some clefs of your own. The treble clef establishes the note G above middle C on the second line of the treble clef staff. The notes are named after the first 7 letters of the alphabet, that is, A through G. On the treble clef staff, the first line is E. The first space is F. The second line is G. The second space is A. The third line is B. The third space is C. The fourth line is D. The fourth space is E. And the fifth line is F. In the beginning, to help you remember the names of the lines and the spaces, you may wish to make up a saying that uses the letters of the line and spaces, some sort of mnemonic. For example, to remember the treble clef lines, every good boy does fine. E, G, B, D, F. The treble clef spaces spell the word face, F, A, C, E. On a staff paper, draw the treble clef at the beginning of a staff line and then draw in the name of the note shown below. For example, the first note is in the second space, that is, in the treble clef is the note A. On staff line paper, draw the treble clef at the beginning of the line and draw the notes indicated. If the note can be drawn in more than one place on the staff, choose which one you want to write. For example, the very first note in the treble clef is D on the fourth line. There can be 2 correct answers on some of these. On staff paper, draw the treble clef at the beginning of a line and draw the notes in bar lines. Then name the notes. Using H for high or L for low, indicate if the first note sounds higher or lower than the second note. For example, in the first pair, D on the fourth line is H higher than B on the third line. Continue this practice example. Lesson 3. The bass clef and staff. The bass clef or the F clef looks like this. To draw the bass clef, first draw a solid black circle around the fourth line, add the curve, then finally add the 2 dots in the third and fourth spaces. On some staffs, try drawing some bass clefs. The bass clef establishes the note F below middle C on the fourth line of the bass staff. Again, the notes are named after the first 7 letters of the alphabet. The first line is the note G. The first space is the note A. The second line is the note B. The second space is the note C. The third line is the note D. The third space is the note E. The fourth line is the note F. The fourth space is the note G. And the fifth line is the note A. Now in the beginning, to help you remember the names of the lines and spaces, you may wish to make up some sort of saying that uses the letters of the lines and spaces. Some type of mnemonic for you. For example, to remember bass clef lines, good boys do fine always. G, B, D, F, A. And for the bass clef spaces, all cows eat grass. A, C, E, G. Draw the bass clef at the beginning of the line. Draw and name the notes shown. Number 2, draw the bass clef at the beginning of the line. Draw the notes indicated. If the note can be drawn on more than one space on the staff, choose which one you want to write. Three, draw the bass clef at the beginning of the line. Also draw and name the notes. Then use an H for high or L for low, indicated if the first note sounds higher or lower than the second note. Lesson 4. This is a review of lessons 1, 2, and 3. Fill in the blanks. Number 1. Music is written on a blank line staff. Number 2. There are blank spaces on the staff. Number 3. Notes higher on the lines and or spaces sound blank than notes on the lower lines and or spaces. 4. The treble clef establishes the note blank on the second blank. 5. The bass clef establishes the note blank on the blank line. Number 6. Notes are named after the first blank letters of the alphabet, blank through blank. Well, I hope you enjoyed going through the basic music theory course, the first 4 lessons with me. Now I've got an extra suggestion for you. Is go get some sheet music, old piano music, something off the internet, whatever you'd like. I suggest try to get something with both treble clef and bass clef, and write out the notes underneath all the notes. Write out the names of the notes. And keep doing it over and over again. Do it with a couple of different ones. Keep doing it. And eventually it becomes easier. And after a while, it'll be a piece of cake. And you won't have to write out the name of the notes. You'll be able to just look at the note and go, I know what that is. Alright, I hope you stay with me. I've got more of these courses coming. Please check out my website, www.ruza.com. That's www.ruza.com. I have a brass music folder there for you. I have a reading folder for you. I will be making more of these. I hope you check out the next set that's coming along. I hope to see you soon.